I think this is going to be a part one of a whole share, because what I'm realizing is how my astrology has literally supported me in understanding so many parts of who I be and how I get to express, and the things that I've witnessed about myself but didn't know how to like piece together to make a whole brand, to be a whole expression of Lourdes, authentic Lourdes. I freaking love it. I knew as a child, I had no questions. I knew like designer. I knew I was an artist designer. I knew that eventually I would have a brand as a result of that. What I did not know are other parts of what I do in this moment to support other people, as well as a service in the healing space with emotions. Oh my God, it's like super exciting to see and witness these things and to be able to offer that to you guys as well. And I specifically say the word astrology because I'm going to give this definition. It's this screenshot of the sky from the point where you were born. And it just has these representational, energetic reminders of who we express and what we get to tune into. And I'll remind you something. There are, let's call it highs and let's call it lows, right? The not that one is good or bad. I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna keep saying that. There are the crest of the wave and the trough of the wave, right? Sine and cosine, people. Like, this is all mathematical. Everything that is art is science. I'm gonna keep saying that as well. But having said that, astrology, it's the foundation for gene keys and human design and cards of destiny and our life paths and our all numerology. All these tools that we use are all still interlaced, connected, and related. And I find that even when you do these other tests like Myers-Briggs and all these other things, there's still components of there that you could learn about yourself. It just, I have noticed from my own observation, they're not as rich and as deep as when you actually make astrology a lifetime study. It's a whole lifetime study. It's not this thing. I mean, imagine people have been doing this for thousands of years. Why in the hell do you think it still exists? For thousands of years. From the ultra wealthy all the way to the poorest. And now, in this day and age, we're learning and bringing in the understanding of its wholeness. It's not just the science, it's not just this art form. It is a whole study and practice holistically that you can learn about yourself. And again, I'm gonna bring it back to the crest of the wave and the trough of the wave, because let me just throw it out there. I'm Sun Sign Libra. And the crest of my wave is that I come in with this beautiful diplomacy, this support for humans where my focus is the other. I could go on and on about things that are at the crest of the wave of expression of Libra. Libra, to free ourselves, to be in the freedom, which interestingly enough, we've got the scales for. Isn't that interesting? And in my observation of life, the scales get to do this, that slight counterbalance, rather than like, they're never gonna be like this. Things would be dead. And I've noticed the more they are like this, the more suffering you go through, because it's a lot of like discomfort that happens, right? When your body has its temperature change at this level of drastic, when your monetary situation changes at this level of drastic, when your emotional state of being changes at this level of drastic, all those things are extremely, it creates suffering, right? And the more we could return to that slight counterbalance, the more we're in the zone of recalibration and comfort and health. So, saying that, I love noticing these things about my astrology, right? Things about me. There's layers and levels to astrology that are, again, literally a lifetime study. My charts, my natal charts, will be a lifetime study, just saying. Not to mention, there's a Vedic system that comes more teachings from the East, and then there's this Western system. And it's fascinating to, again, blend them and learn from them and not keep them separate. I know that most people do, but again, I'm a Libra, so I'm gonna bring in how do we all look at this together collectively and allow this thing to support us. With that in mind, the other thing I want to share is that trough of the wave. And it's the trough of the wave that I've noticed is, for a Libra, more in the manipulation. You're trying to really control situations And the reason we humans do that is because we feel unsafe. So it's a part of the fun of the game we came to play. That's my observation about this life. I know that everyone's gonna have a different point of view, and mine is that this life is so much fun to play. It's so much fun to play this game and learn about it so that we can be more in the delicious space. I've literally had lots of money, and I've literally had very little bit of money, or maybe even zero at times. And yet I've been able to still move through those experiences, find the fun in them, be frustrated as hell, right? Be pissed as hell at God, like what the fuck, and be in the recognition of like, this is all happening for me, and what am I learning from it? Like, that shit is, I just can't explain the richness and vastness of what you get to enjoy in life when you shift your perspective into that, because it truly is all about perspective shifting. So with that trough, there's so many other things that are in the trough of the wave of Libra that are so, I mean, you guys probably have more examples. Leave them in the comments. I would love to hear. You've met a Libra, you've dated a Libra, you are a Libra. What is your most, call it toxic trait that you have? And oh my God, another one. Oh yeah, I'm thinking, again, it's still manipulation. Libras, crafting stories like lawyers, because lawyer energy falls under Libra too, all about the law. And yeah, it's super interesting to see how you can craft that and manipulate that in ways that are of benefit for some and not others, right? Again, the things we get to tune into. On another note, my moon sign that rules your emotions. The sun rules your state of the way that you are in your egoic expression, your ego, the part of you that's designed to protect you, the guard dog. It's like barks at everything. It's all concerned and worried and stressed out. And your soul, your anima, the root word of soul is animation, to move, movement, energy. So your soul's energetic expression is a whole nother situation. And it's really fun to balance the two out. Again, I'm gonna come back to that. But I'm coming to the moon sign because, interestingly, speaking of balancing, my moon is on the direct 180 degrees from Libra, and it is Aries. And that is all the focus is on yourself. So my emotional state of being, I move through very quickly, and because it's a fire sign, and Libra's an air sign, and all about the other, and over here, Aries is all about the self. And so it's so fascinating how I get to bring those two together often to balance me out, to ground me, to bring me back to center. And again, because I know this about myself in such a rich way, and with the archetype of Aries and the archetype of Libra, I have learned how to bring myself back to center in a really delicious way. And this is why I love talking about astrology. And again, all these human design, gene keys, cards of destiny, your life path. I mean, there's so many modalities that we have that work together to teach you about yourself. And I want to share that, yeah, this is like part of how I've learned about my own brand. Like I said, as a child, I already knew that I was designer artist. I didn't know I was meant to be healer. Supportive, emotional, go deep down into the depths of hell with people to bring them out to the light so that they can soar. And that's my scorpionic midheaven, if you will. I have quite a few scorpionic placements. Some of you can already read that in all of my energy, and others of you, right, we're in the learning, and it's really fun. And there are times that I can look at a person and I can literally feel the energy that they're in. And sometimes I can even feel the expression of who they be through their chart. It cracks me up, but it isn't all the time. I don't try to figure out people in this way. I'm not trying to sit there and psychoanalyze every individual. Like, again, this is the fun of a why I talk to you guys about intuition development and being in your five senses, tapped into, tuned into, extended and expanded, and literally not overwhelming you, because you can turn that dial down or you could turn it back up. And that is so helpful. So yeah, those are some examples. Another example is my life path. My life path speaks about being the nurturer and being in beauty. I'm a life path 6, and you can go read this for yourself. You could go look up your own online. What is your life path? You put in there your birth, month, day, and year, and the whole year. You got to put all the numbers in there, and it will calculate for you your life path. And how interesting, because again, what did I just talk about? As a child, I knew that I wanted to be an artist designer. And here I am actually doing that thing, designing clothing, producing art, crafting my brand online, all the online work that I do and that I've prepared, whether it be content creation or my website or anything that I've done online is just all this creative work that I get to do and express. And it's so special to me. I love it. It feeds my soul. And again, the way to feel so fulfilled and be in joy in life, even when shit hits the fan, is knowing that you're being in your soul's expression, the way that it desires to move through this life. And many of you have found that in many different ways. It's not like you have to look at your astrology. It's just when you have your astrology, you now have these super detailed information for you to tune back into and to learn more about over time. That's what's so rich and vast about it. And like, it's not gonna dry up with information for you. You're gonna keep seeing and understanding more layers to yourself. So, like I explained, I didn't know that I would have this way in which to work with people and be very healing. I knew naturally, right? You observe yourself as an empath. And imagine, I have been truly in some very abusive situations, especially a church scenario with a pastor and all the things. I've already been deep in the shit, and I've been able to move through that and come to another space where I am living in beautiful freedom, where I get to move around the world, because part of my gene key expression is line 3-5, which teaches me that the line 3, I get to be in the experiment of life. I'm going to be a massive experimenter, and a big part of that means I get to be in different cultures. I get to be connecting to different peoples. All these things richly support me. If I do not do that, I'm going to be in depression. I'm going to be in more depression rather than expression, the opposite of that. And my observation is the more you tune into your own abilities, your power, your poder, go check out the root of that word. You realize what you can do and what you're able to do. And you realize there is so much more power that you have available to you, instead of thinking that power is just related to money. That happens to be one fun tool that it could be used for, and there's so much more available to us. And it's with these observations, again, about my own experience, line 5 in human design is related to power. So like, duh, this is something I talk about with people all the time. Another thing, since I explained my midheaven as being Scorpio in that 10th house, and so that's part of my career path, is to go down to hell with people, to go down into the sexual and the taboo and all the things that we look at as the darkness. Scorpio, the trough of the wave of Scorpio is there. The crest of the wave is to be the eagle, right? The scorpion and the eagle. I really support people in giving them that eagle's bird point of view so that they can see things from different angles, from different perspectives. So that yes, it isn't bad for you to be in the Scorpio energy. It helps you to see down to the details, to the nitty gritty, and then let's go look at the big picture. Let's rock and roll. Like, that's what these tools are here for. To express. I could talk about this shit all day long. Just like, I love it so much. And your midheaven represents that career, that like big expression that you're giving to the world. And all I knew was that I was an empath, right? That's all I knew. What I didn't know was that I could actually like learn. It's been a whole learning process. I promise you, I've been through a whole journey, which, layers and details of all that to come. I've even sat with plant medicines that have mirrored to my soul things I got to learn about myself. One of those being that I am much bigger than I remember. And yeah, we've heard this shit online. We've seen it, we've read it. We say it to others, but when you actually embody it, when you experience it, because it is in your whole realm, which you're gonna forget sometimes too, let's be fucking real, right? We're also gonna forget it. But when you're in it more and more, and you remember it more and more, you actually begin to operate out of that place, from that place of bigness. I saw myself as a dragon, and at one time I saw myself as a baby dragon. I was still inside the egg. I hadn't even hatched yet. It was fascinating. And then over time, I began to feel myself bigger and bigger. I know this sounds weird, but I've even looked at myself in photos and I'm like, why am I the biggest person there? Like, if you guys know me, and many of you do know me, I'm skinny. I'm this tiny little thing. I am not even quite 5'6", okay? And so it's just so funny to observe that I could see myself in photos and I look like the biggest person there because the camera just made me look bigger, and probably it's just my eyeballs reminding me, all of life, God, everything that is reminding me like, hey babe, you're big, fucking play it, be in it, be with it, it's okay. And yes, I promise you I make people uncomfortable all the time, all the time. And I'm okay with that. And if I fuck up, I'm able to talk to people about it and ask for an apology or whatever it is, right? Ask for forgiveness. Be in the experience with those and still remain in my own recognition of what I am learning and experiencing. And that shit is, again, it's super rich. You can't pay enough money for that. Like, it's the return on investment that keeps giving. And that's why I explain self-mastery, the work that I do with people, in the intimacy, the Into Me I See program that I do with people, is that so that you can learn more about the things that you express and who you be, and the more you can connect to the things that can center you, can bring you back into neutral, so that you can be and enjoy more of who you are and feel less depressed and more expressed. Oh my God, I love it. It's so beautiful. And I'm also witnessing people shift and change to where they are getting off medications. They are doing things that the medical field told us that we couldn't do. And so again, that shit's just super rich. I just love being in the observation of it and being able to enjoy the experience of life from many different angles. So if any of this resonates for you guys, let me know down in the comments, drop it. I would love to hear from you how your astrology or your gene keys or your human design or your life path or your Myers-Briggs or whatever it is, Enneagram, right? Anything, but what has supported you in learning more about yourself, and how has it, in a very practical way, how has it changed your life? So yeah, one thing I want to share here is I've noticed that it's allowed me to believe in myself more and more. It's so helpful to recognize that even though things are growing slowly with my business, with all sorts of things, I get to be in that patience, be in the acceptance, while also dancing with the energy of putting in all the efforts, all the energy, all the soul I get to put into what I'm doing. It creates the perfect motivation, the perfect recipe for me to continue to be in the thing I feel called to be in, the thing I feel called to do, the thing I'm the most excited to wake up in the morning for. It's literally that simple, to tune into your astrology and begin to learn it and be with it. And I'm not joking, I mean, like, spend time learning these different parts. If it's the archetype in general of your sun sign, if it's your gene key expression, which, by the way, a couple of mine are actually literally related to beauty, which is why I'm in the beauty field. It's so cool. And again, so supportive to understand these details, because I get to sit with that gene key and learn more about myself, read about it or meditate on it or talk to others about it and learn more, or get on YouTube and listen to other people's experiences with it as well. All these things inform you and give you so much value, again, that like is truly endless. And that's what's so fun about this game. I freaking love it. So I'm gonna say bye for now. We'll share more later, but I look forward to hearing from you guys. Yeah, we'll see you later. Ciao.